Greetings everyone, today we'll be taking a look at my PS4 and PS5 games collection. Since our last similar video, I've added tons of more games to my collection, so let's check it out. First we'll start with some of my favorite PS4 and PS5 games that I think are a must-play for all the PlayStation gamers out there. Of course, I have GTA 5 Premium Edition. This is actually one of the first games I got for my PS4. Even to this day, 11 years after its launch, GTA 5 is super popular. Hopefully by this time next year, we'll be able to play GTA 6, but this one will be forever in my collection. Next I have Uncharted the Nathan Drake collection, which is just a great value for money. It includes the first 3 Uncharted games, which are the most iconic adventure games for the PS3 and PS4, and you should definitely play them from start to finish. I also have Uncharted The Lost Legacy, which is probably the most underrated Uncharted game. It serves as a standalone expansion to Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. It builds upon gameplay elements established in the previous Uncharted titles with a more open-ended gameplay. Moving on to another iconic game for the PlayStation platforms, which is God of War 3, and this is the remastered version for the PS4. Definitely in my top 10 favorite action games. Of course, we have the original 2018's Marvel Spider-Man, one of the greatest superhero games ever made. It's just so much better than the previous Spider-Man games in terms of graphics, gameplay and narrative. All in all, 10 out of 10 in my opinion. Moving on to The Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt, Game of the Year Edition, also a great value for money. It includes Heart of Stone, Blood and Wine and a total of 16 DLCs. Definitely one of the best open-world RPGs available for the PS4 and PS5. And where we would be without Red Dead Redemption 2. Until GTA 6 comes out, this will be the best open-world game with the most detailed and well-crafted in-game world. The story is also great and I couldn't recommend it more. Next we have Horizon Zero Dawn, one of the first proper action RPGs that I played on the PS4. As you can see, I actually got this with my PS4 as a part of a bundle. It came along with The Last of Us and Uncharted 4. All in all, this is a great looking game with decent story and interesting game mechanics. Days Gone is the next game I have in my collection. It is also one of the first games that I played on the PS4 back when I got it. It brings that nostalgic post-apocalyptic feeling every time I revisit it. Despite its flaws, I still like Days Gone, and it ranks in my top favorite PS4 titles. Moving on to the 2015's Need for Speed, which is a reboot to the franchise. It has decent graphics and very well detailed car customization, definitely a must-try racing game. We continue with yet another iconic and generation-defining game, the 2018's God of War. It received universal acclaim from critics for its story, world design, art direction, music, graphics, combat system and characters, in particular the relationship between Kratos and his son Atreus. God of War has successfully revitalized the series without losing its core identity. Currently, it is one of the best-selling PS4 games. Next I have Gran Turismo 7. If you're into sim racing games, this is the quintessential game for you. Gran Turismo 7 features the return of the single-player campaign, which is great and it emphasizes more on the whole car culture. Moving on to another of my all-time favorite games, The Last of Us. I originally played it on my PS3 and it performed great, but this PS4 remaster really makes the whole game so much better. This is definitely a must-play. You can now get The Last of Us for a really good price and you should definitely try it. Uncharted 4 is another one of my all-time favorite games. This was part of a bundle and it really showed me what I was losing for not giving the PS4 a chance. The graphics are just awesome, it has great narrative, emotional depth and overall visual design. I can definitely recommend Uncharted 4. Next up we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. A little known fact is that this remaster happened because of an online petition by fans. It features extensive graphical improvements, updated animations and revised original sound effects. It retains the original core gameplay with small adjustments, which is what makes it a great remaster. Gran Turismo Sport is also one of the best sim racing games for the PS4. The game is now a couple of years old and you can purchase it for a very good price. Moving on to Watch Dogs 2, honestly I haven't played it for more than a year, so I plan to test it again on the PS4 or PS5. It features some unique hacking mechanics and quite decent open world design. Next we got WWE 2K20. Now I'm not a huge WWE fan, but I got it for the sake of testing its graphics and performance. I also have the original Watch Dogs game, which was a quite controversial title. It promised awesome graphics, but it didn't quite live to the hype, at least on the older gen PS3 and Xbox 360. The PS4 version that we have here looked quite alright. I got the disc version for about $6 or $7, so nothing to complain about. Next up we got the Ghost of Tsushima, definitely one of the most memorable PS4 games in the recent years. I absolutely love the visual style of the game, the combat is great and the story is very well crafted. I have the Pro Evolution Soccer 21 season update. This was before the game transitioned to a free-to-play model and it changed its name to eFootball. I also have FIFA 20 and Assassin's Creed Origins, which was one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games. I really liked the overall graphic style and the ancient Egypt setting. Next we got WWE 2K19 and Battlefield 1, which even to this day feels just amazing. The gameplay is absolutely wild and the graphics are great. Overall a must-play for the first-person shooter fans. Moving on with another awesome game that I can recommend, Horizon Forbidden West. I have the PS4 version, which offers free PS5 upgrade, which looks awesome on the PS5. I've tested the game on both platforms, but it has all the next-gen graphics features on the PS5. We also got God of War Ragnarok. This is a cross-gen release. If you have the PS4 version like I do, you can use the disc to get the next-gen version on your PS5. We continue with Mortal Kombat 11. I find the game and fighting quite enjoyable, and for a fighting game it has a really good story with great voice acting. Moving on with Need for Speed Rivals, I actually got it with few other racing games for the PS4 at a very reasonable price. I also have FIFA 18 and this is the Mafia trilogy. It includes the 3 Mafia games, with Mafia 1 being a complete remake, built from the ground up, and Mafia 2 is a remaster with updated graphics. This trilogy is just an amazing value for money and I advise you to purchase it. Moving on with another famous and quite controversial game, Cyberpunk 2077. Initially, the game suffered from some performance issues, especially on the older PS4 and Xbox One. But with the recent updates, the game now performs much better and it's more than playable even on the older PS4. We also have F1 2018 and Death Stranding, which is a very different game compared to the mainstream AAA titles. It was the first game from Hideo Kojima and Kojima Productions after their split from Konami in 2015. At first glance, Death Stranding feels like it's composed entirely of fetch quests, but actually the game has much more depth. It's definitely not for the casual gamers and I quite like its overall style. Also in my collection I have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, one of the latest Assassin's Creed games. As the name suggests, the game features fictional story during the Viking expansion into the British Isles. It actually has a really nice balance between world exploration, combat and story, overall a great game. Next I got The Last of Us Part 2. It received universal acclaim for its improved graphics, gameplay and audio design, with some controversies regarding the narrative and themes, but all in all it's a worthy successor to the first game. Moving on with another superhero game, Marvel's Avengers. I also got FIFA 21. And here's Need for Speed Heat. The game was criticized for its short story and lack of any new major features. And honestly, it felt like the next piece in the Need for Speed puzzle, rather than a whole new street racing experience. Next I have Far Cry 5. I played it few days ago, and although it's a game from 2018, the graphics are great and it doesn't feel outdated at all. It also runs great on the PlayStation 4. There's also one of the older Assassin's Creed games, Odyssey. It focuses on the conflict between Athens and Sparta. And there's the last year's FIFA 23. I also got Elden Ring. Although I'm not a huge fan of the Souls-like genre, I must appreciate how well crafted Elden Ring is. The game is a bit on the hard side in terms of overall difficulty, so it's not really for the casual players. Here's Far Cry 6. I actually did a video on it on my PS4 a couple of days ago. It runs really nice on the console and you should definitely give it a try. Moving on to the latest fighting game, Mortal Kombat 1. Unfortunately, it wasn't released for the old-gen consoles such as the PS4 and Xbox One. It's a purely next-gen game. I also have Marvel Spider-Man 2. It's a PS5 exclusive and it has all the fancy next-gen graphics features such as ray tracing, 4K resolution and 120Hz output. There's the previous Spider-Man game. It's also a great looking game. Here's last year's WWE 2K23. And Resident Evil 7, which as you can see is still brand new unopened. I will probably test it in one of my next PS4 videos. And the last two games I purchased are Guardians of the Galaxy and Assassin's Creed Mirage. I've tested them on the PS4, the videos are on my channel. And guys, that wraps up today's video. Don't forget to subscribe for more gaming content and hit that notification bell to stay updated on our latest releases. And if you enjoyed this video, share your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching and see you all in the next video.